Hey, we're gonna have a talk real quick. I've been thinking about making this video for a while, and I really was on the fence if I was gonna do it. I'm not even sure how much I really want to keep up with the YouTube thing, but it's been kind of an interesting month. I had the rug pulled out from underneath me when a good friend of mine lost his battle with his demons. And came as shot a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately I had to go bury another friend of mine. So we're going to talk about mental health and, of course, the terminal endpoint of mental health problems. Of course, the permanent checkout. Guys, we need to talk about some stuff. Like right now, there's a lot of dudes that are sick out there, and I'm coming to you guys from a place of love and personal experience with this, because I've had my battles with my own demons and my own challenges, and I've had to do a lot of work on the inside and the out growing up. Well, I turned 40 now, and it comes with some experience, and it comes with some lumps, and to kind of ride the wave in with other people and see how they have handled things for better or worse. Despite the evidence to the contrary, when we look around and we see how bad things are with the government and society, wars going on in multiple countries that are affecting thousands upon thousands of people, if not millions of people, we tend to lose sight of some positivity that exists out there. And at the end of this video, that's really what I want everyone to take away from this, is a sense of positivity. I've been fortunate to been a member of an awesome team in the United States military. If you couldn't tell with my hastily thrown together desk and flags, I'm fortunate to be a Ranger Regiment veteran. And that comes with a lot. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that when they're jumping into that C-130. It stays with you forever, for better or worse, mostly for better, but it depends on anything, like how you carry it. Some people carry it with ease, and some people struggle. And a lot of people that struggle look at the folks that they think are carrying it with ease, and they wonder, why not me? Why am I struggling with these issues? That has absolutely been a position that I've had in the past, like a conversation that was happening in my brain. Why am I dealing with this cycle of bullshit and pain? And it's weird. It's like this paradoxical sensation of feeling like you're going nowhere, but you're also still spinning at the same time, right? There's a lot of conversations that I've had to have with myself, and a lot of coming to truths on things, and also learning how to give myself grace. Now, I'm coming from a position of, I've been fortunate to found therapy like 5 years ago. And look, therapy is not for everybody. It actually is not for everybody. Not everybody needs therapy. We need to stop self-diagnosing and other people diagnosing all the time just because you learned some terminology on Instagram. The truth of the matter is, therapy does benefit people, for sure. And for men, I think we need to take another look at this and encourage one another. Speak up, especially if you've gotten positive experiences with therapy. Let other people know that help is on the other side of that curtain. And it's just up to you to, when you get sick of everything, the cycle, when you are done with it, to walk through that curtain, walk across that veil. Fortunate that I have found myself mostly on the other side of that veil, but there's always battles ahead of you. That's one thing to understand too. There is no cure to life. There isn't. It's just a perpetual washing machine, and it's going to move you around. There's so much randomness at the helm of all of it, and also, in my personal belief, God's masterful plan, which is still very mysterious, especially when you're in the middle of it and you ask Him to do what He wants with you. It can be a turbulent time. You got to be careful what you ask for. But with that said, I think we are in a good position as men in society. I think over the last couple years, a conversation has gotten louder and louder and more common of men identifying with these personal struggles and issues and seeking out to get help, but not just that, being an ambassador for that help. No one tells you when you become a veteran of the 75th Ranger Regiment that you're basically an ambassador for life for the regiment, for better or worse. If you're the biggest piece of shit anyone's ever met and you're the only Ranger they've ever met, well, guess what? Every Ranger's a piece of shit. If every Ranger's just a stud and that's the only Ranger they've ever met, well, guess what? Same thing. So you're always an ambassador for that, but we're also an ambassador for something positive in life, and that is that there's hope beyond the pain. I have to speak in some generalities out of privacy for my friend. Some people that know him will understand who I'm referring to, but I didn't know him for a terribly long time compared to the guys that I actually served in the platoons with. But this guy and I met during COVID at a ranch in Northern California for just a Memorial Day weekend out, and man, it was perfect. Just a guy that you immediately clamshelled with and just knew that that's your buddy. That's a guy for life, right? And the man mentored me in a lot of different things. He's the one that got me my start into the firearms industry. He's the one that saw something in me and pulled me up. And ever since then, I owe everything that I've accomplished, my association with Darcy, Maxim Defense, my current employer, and you name it, is because of my buddy. And he was a man that loved just big, super big. I mean, everything he did big in the sense of big love, but also really big pain and really big hurt. And unfortunately, I don't know if he was just in a position to get out of the cycle. And unfortunately, he felt the only way to make the world stop spinning around him was to cause the end of his life. And it's sad because so much of us on this one seems different. So much of us tried to help our friend. And that's something that, as I think upon, when I say we need to take action in our own recovery, we need to take, ownership. We need to be our participant in this, in our own journey. I've lost a lot of friends to unfortunately. And it's gotten to the point where the numbers of deaths by accident or just deaths of despair for my small alumni group is it outweighs the amount of people killed in combat, and I don't think it's close. Between the entire regiment, we've lost a lot of guys to their battles and their struggles post-service, and all the push-ups in the world aren't going to fix that, and we need to stop pretending like we care by just keeping everybody in the forefront of their minds. We need to be active in our own recovery. We need to take ownership of that journey. You were the one that was the pilot of the boat that got you into the Ranger Regiment. You are the pilot of the boat that is going to get you through this new struggle in life. And as long as we try to stay anchored and moored in every other naval analogy I can use for an Army unit, we got to take ownership of this. Not everyone's going to make it still. And there's only so much you can do. And I'm not saying we gave up on our friend whatsoever. I'm just saying that there's a limit to what we can do to help other people sometimes, unfortunately. When you start to work through those demons and you start to work backwards and you start to take your health seriously, and I mean not just your mental health, I mean your physical health, and I haven't been good about that the last couple of months. And you stop drinking, or you at least dramatically cut it out. You stop leaning on weed, and I'm not anti-weed, I'm not pro-weed, I'm just saying that there's a time and a place for all of that stuff, and there's a too much. And everyone that doesn't agree with that, you can argue it in the comment section. To get back in harmony with the person that you were before all the bad stuff happened. Now, understand, you're never going to be that person again in fullness, but that person still lives inside of you. And often we hear wounded child, we hear our shadow, these other terms. And while I do personally believe there is truth completely to that stuff, that's a sign that, hey, he's still in there. There's a gentleman whose book I'm reading right now, Jason Wilson. I hope I'm getting the name right. Oh my gosh. But the book is amazing. It's about, men's issues and men's emotions. And I'm going to butcher this paraphrasing here, but he talks about men, difference between men and women with our emotions and men with our literacy for those emotions is that Men are a 12 color crayon box and women are all 64 colors, right? So you go, oh, she's holding up a color, and you pull up purple. Well, she's holding up lavender, right? You see pink, but really she's holding up salmon, right? Women have a unique ability to have a lot more latitude and elasticity with their emotions, right? But as men, it doesn't mean we're not capable of it either. Half the time, you guys don't even know the words to describe how you feel. And look, that's how, why would you expect that if you haven't actually been raised to kind of regulate your nervous system, right? Not just raised to regulate your nervous system, but to have learned how to have done that. So I would encourage you to explore these things, because we are getting to the point where we are just losing too many guys, and I'm kind of tired of it. I'm fortunate that I'm going to be going to Washington, D.C. next month to explore some legislation on the Hill. I've been working on this project for a year with Phil Labonte and Amy Sanchez. Shout out to them. Shout out to you, Phil, Amy. I think we have a good chance of getting something big done for the men and sons and fathers of our society, because we need our men back. And this isn't meant to be a video about the manosphere topic, dumpster fire. It's, we need to be men again. And what I mean by that is we need to start to work on ourselves in order to right the boat and to get back on azimuth. And in order to do that, we have to work on ourselves. And so with that, guys, I appreciate your time. My name is Tim with Revere Resource Group. Who knows if this can even stay the name of this thing. Like I said, I've been slacking on this. Never would ask you to share a video, but if there's any video you can share to a buddy that might need help, please share this one. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. I will be seeing you guys, I don't know, sometime different than now. With a different background, probably. I don't know what I'm doing.